Perfect. 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 Perfect.
What's up, fam? What's going on? You're listening to the Sports Coma. What's good with your family? We in the building, and I like to say what's happening to the sport. We had a pretty good night tonight, man. The Saints did it up pretty good, family. And it's pretty positive, man, to say the least, man. And we liking it a lot. So what up, family in the building? The fam in the building. Jason, who that, baby? Audit, who that to you? And all the family. Paul's in the building. What's up, Paul? Scoob, who that? All the family in the building, man. Saints get one tonight, man. That's 2 straight in the preseason, 28-13. We get one, fam. We get one. And I'm really happy about this. This one's okay, man. This one's all right, family. This was all right. All right. All right, we in here, family. I think hold on. Let me get everything adjusted here. All right. We sound good right there. All right, family. Who that? Who that? All my family in the building here. What's going on, family? Who that to you? We got everybody in the building. Verlin, JC, Mason. Who that, baby? Who that to you? Welcome to the live stream. Crass, Dominic, who that? JT, Verlin. What he said, what's wrong with Washington's hands? Man, Washington got his bell rung today. That little dude, whoever that was a dirty little guy there, man. That was two times he had a helmet to helmet, man. I don't like that. I don't like how he played. He a dirty little sucker. But Saints did all right, family. They did all right. We're gonna talk about that today. Just give me a second. Let me make adjustments. We got Sean Payton that's gonna chime in, family. Today we're gonna get Sean in the building and hear his breakdown on the game. Loud and clear. The family say we in the building, fam. We in the building. 28-13. Welcome all to the live stream. The recap. The right one. What's up, fam? It's been a while. Welcome back. Roscoe, what's happening? Roscoe, Gary, who that, baby? All the family, all my family in the building. Good to see y'all, man. We in a live stream. Verla saying Harris gave you one after you've been asking. Hey, man, you know what? It's true. It's true, ain't it? Ain't that something? Now, who been beating the block, beating the world for a punt return for a touchdown, and we got one tonight? Now, you think that's coincidence? Who that, Sean? Who that, Crass? Oh, my good family in the building, man. Elite, what's happening? Wah! Man, all the beautiful fam in the building. What's happening, family? JC Mason says, you think Grayson makes the 53? Kind of tough to call it, but you can't deny his speed, man. I mean, he has some world-class speed. But I tell you something, though. Deontay Harris is absolutely just fantastic. And I mean, the Saints, man, they suck kick returning, man. But it's just, if you watch the footage of him returning, that was mostly him. He had maybe one block, maybe two. But he seen that lane and had nothing but jets around him, reaching out for him. But he was fast enough to cut up through the middle and just take it outside. Really big. I want to see what the family got to say. Well, who that daughter? He's in the building. The family chiming in. Roscoe said 27-16. He did say that. Roscoe, you was just short. 28-13, family. Yeah, you was real close on that thing, man. You might have a gift for that. You know what I'm saying, family? But, man, I tell you what, man, it was a pretty good game in a lot of regards, man. I was satisfied. Most satisfied than the previous game against the Chargers, but obviously the Jets matchup was pretty decent. So, I've been saying, man, when Deontay Harris took it to the house, I could just hear the family members. I can hear the family members in my ear saying, man, you finally got it. You got it. But, let's hope that there's more of that to come, family. Seriously. Let's hope Deontay Harris, he's a fantastic talent. He had a screw up. He did run into a lane and had the ball knocked out of his hands. But I keep saying that our kick return team sucks setting those lanes, man. Give me just a second, family. Hold on just a second. I don't know how I got up in here and didn't put my spotlight on here. All right, that's so much better, isn't it, family? It's like somebody turned the sun on. But it's wonderful, though, family, just to be quite honest with you. See, I was in the rush to get here. I forgot to turn on I got 3 lights in here, 3 spotlights around me. And I forgot to turn on my main one there. But family, I'm going to tell you, today's podcast, welcome aboard Sports Coma live stream. number 21, show number, geez willikers, I can't remember what show number. I think it's 417. Forgive me if I quoted wrong, but it's so many of them. I think it's 417. We're going to recap this thing. We're going to give, I read our customary grades. We're going to give grades to the offense, defense, and special teams. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to play a little Sean Payton momentarily, his post-game interview, his thoughts on the win. Also, we're going to talk about, what you guys liked, who you seen, who you thought was kind of stood out, and who you think is in trouble. And just to get the party started on that one, the really outspoken thing that I really seen, I'm gonna just hold it. I'm gonna hold it for a little bit. But I'm gonna open the phone lines up after the interviews, family, and I'm gonna ham out. I'm gonna let you guys call in, or you can chat questions, concerns, and comments on the live chat. I do my best to answer them, family. And also, we're gonna talk about, like I said, we got some interviews. We're gonna play from different players. Sean Payton will be the first one up. But really interesting game, family, going into it. I'm gonna run down the statistics on podcast 417, live stream number 21. And my customary, I started off, family, by saying, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. If you didn't know, I'm Big Q. And for those who are new to the live stream, we are the #1 independent Saints podcast in the land, also live streaming right before your very eyes, covering our beautiful black and gold team as they continue their travels toward their destiny lies in Miami, baby. They lie in Miami. We got to get to Miami and make this and rectify this situation. But, man, nice game today. Drew Brees, man. Wow. Drew came in and lit it up, didn't he? Like he was playing that's the thing about greatness. And I say about Drew, before I get into the interview from Sean Payton, I just want to say how Brees looked. And I see Scoob says Brees is Brees. Jason says Brees looked like Brees, awesome as always, read it. And it's he taking reps in practice with the first teams. We know, they have some camaraderie going on. Him and Mike Thomas picking up from like they were last year. Him to Elvin Kamara, the offense just turns and turns and turns and turns and turns. And you witness greatness. And it's in the preparation. It's in the mental reps. Drew will be the first one to tell you that he goes through mental reps in his head. He goes through mental repetitions. He goes through an entire game. Him on the field going through an entire game in his head, making plays, check down. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater go through mental reps in his head like a Drew Brees does. And he can learn something. He need to learn something from Drew Brees while Drew's here to add to his game because, the offense just is not electric with Teddy Bridgewater's in there. It's not. And I don't want to get on him. I'm not going to get all up into that. But before I play Drew, let me address some of the family members. Man, y'all all in the building. Lovely. Jason said I called the QPRE for a TD tonight finally. I just love it, man. I just love it. And Jason says Harris is the guy. We said it. I said it prior to in the pregame. I said Deontay Harris has this. He has it. He has it. He has vision. And that's some of the greatest punt returners in the history of the league have. And I named Josh Cribbs, who used to play with Cleveland. I named Devin Hester, who was Chicago. They have the vision to open things up. But the Saints are still struggling. I mean, really struggling to set lanes for Deontay Harris to run through. It was several of them. He had another opportunity where he can actually have broken it. The one when he ran through the lane and the guy punched the ball out, that was one where if he would have survived that hit and tucked it underneath, that was a lane. So I'm saying the Saints really need to keep working on that, man, and creating lanes for Deontay Harris to run through. I mean, they really need to work on that because they're struggling. It was times when, like I said, in the game where you'll see him try to make a move, he was tackled by 2 or 3 guys, and that shouldn't be. That is absolutely should be. When you blocking on and you running up the field on kick returns and you trying to open up a lane for your guy, everybody's supposed to know where their man is or who they're supposed to block. It's like the Saints guys get lost, they dumb or something. I don't know what's going on. But you're practicing that stuff too much to be that bad looking at it. And on the one where Deontay took it all the way to the house, that was, they had 1 or 2 blocks in there, but mostly Deontay Harris was cutting in between the lanes like a snake and found the lane and just beat the special teams, the place kicker, whoever it was, for the touchdown. We need to work on that because this guy could really, really, really take it to the house. And we talking about Cyril Grayson here, family. But Harris is, I would love to see Grayson and Harris rushes, to tell you the truth. I see it. Harris is lightning fast with his speed. So, I hear you with Cyril Grayson. I hear you with Teddy Ginn Jr., but Deontay Harris looked like a absolute rocket out there. Like he got a rocket strapped to his back. He takes off, and it's just, wow. He just boom. Like sonic boom or whatever. It's Paul said Andre Waters is back again. Paul, old school. Okay, fam, let's see here. Roscoe, I didn't get. Roscoe said he was just right off on that school. We've been egging that on. Elite Good said, yes, we have. Jerome said, people need to start talking about Patrick Robinson. And Jerome, you're right. And guess who we're going to talk about, Patrick Robinson? Because I just stopped myself a few minutes ago because I was about to go in on him. Who that, Roscoe? And that's another thing, man. Patrick Robinson, and man, I tell you, Patrick Robinson looked like absolute dumpster juice. He looked like he just graduated from Trash Can U. He's absolutely behind. He looks bad. He too much of a veteran to look that bad in coverage. He got burnt by 2 touchdowns in the preseason. Looks out of the play. It's just he's supposed to know someone. And that's what the thing when we got this guy, and that was a concern about which Patrick Robinson are we getting? Are we getting the dumpster can DB we got rid of when we drafted this guy out of Florida State? And when he came in, he didn't have much. He didn't play with any attitude. It was like middle ground. He didn't have no attitude. If a guy toasts you, you're supposed to have some goddamn pride. If a guy get the best of you, you're supposed to have some pride. Say, man, this ain't never going to happen to me again. But Deion Sanders said it best early in the year. He says the difference between great and good cornerbacks or cornerbacks in general is that he said great cornerbacks look to make a play and make a play on the ball or intercept something like that. And bad cornerbacks or regular cornerbacks look to not get burnt. Now, who's that fit? Marshawn Lattimore doesn't look to get burnt, and neither does Eli Apple. He's not better than Marshawn, but you see what I'm saying here. Most of these guys look to not get burnt. And Patrick Robinson absolutely stinks. He stinks. He sucks. He sucks. He stinks. Did I say he stinks and he sucks? Let me say it again for people who missed me. He stinks and he sucks. And Sean Payton must think he stink and suck too because they had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson lined up at the nickel for most of the night. Did anybody see that? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson didn't play a snap of safety. He was lined up at the nickel. What's that telling you? Oh, well, they just practicing for the nickel package that he going to play and they're going to put P-Rod. Oh, no. No. They're going to look to save some money. Patrick Robinson looks absolutely terrible. And I heard some of these guys talking about, Patrick Robinson. It's between Patrick Robinson and P.J. Williams for the nickel spot. What are you talking about? Both those guys look terrible. It ain't between none of those guys. None of them. Patrick Robinson is not doing a damn thing, and P.J. Williams is doing worse than him. He ain't making no noise. And Ken Crawley out there trying to play, he dropped a wide open interception. And he was actually looking at the ball this time. He actually turned around, and I said, man, look. Ken Crawley turned around. He turned around. He gonna get the interception. Look what he do. It dropped it. Just dropped it and put his hand on his head. Why are you doing that? You thought you was gonna actually catch that, Ken Crawley, before you walk it? Good grief. Good Lord. Good Lord, Ken Crawley. And look at his hands. They got gloves on, family, with the stickum gloves. Those gloves have stickum on them. They're supposed to assist you in catching the ball, and he still dropped it. What do I have to do? Smear your hands with Gorilla Glue to ensure interception? Good grief. Good grief, family. Wow. Oh, my goodness. But we won. We got the win 28-13. I'm going to go over the stats and the team statistics in just a second, family. Crash said the refs suck. Dada says Y'all, the refs did suck, man. These were some terrible calls in this game. That's why you have to play the best you can. Goodness knows they don't know what the hell they doing. I mean, I tell you what, man. They don't have a clue in the game. Pass interferences that really wasn't pass interference. Roughing the passes that really wasn't roughing the passes. Holding that really wasn't holding. I mean, absolutely terrible. And these supposed to be professional referees. Absolutely shameful. The NBA, I mean, the NFL need the Saints slap themselves for hiring garbage time referees like this. I mean, good grief. Verlin has said, I have to admit, since I have been hard on Betty Brokewater, LOL, good game. He did play Mendemore a lot better, but you can't play no worse than what he looked when he was sick. I mean, anything will be an improvement than that, you know. Paul said, do the Saints return team need to hold hands on her? They probably would screw that up too, Paul. Oh, that's a good one, Paul. That's a good one, man. That's funny. That's funny. Who that, Robert? And let me see here, family. Family got a lot to say here. But before we get into reading the rest of the family comments, let me hit y'all with the team statistics that happened tonight with your Saints getting the best of the Jets in their building, 28-13, as the Saints now have a 2-1 preseason record, 2-0 on the road. How about that? A win in somebody else's building. Now, first down, Saints 22-16 with the first downs. Third down, Saints a hell of a lot better. 8 of 19 on the third downs. That's awesome. The Jets, not so awesome. 4 of 13. 8 of 19 for the Saints on third downs. 4 of 13 for the Jets. Total plays, Saints had 72 total plays versus just 57 plays by the Jets. Total yards, 405 yards by the Saints, 300 by the Jets. 12 total drives by the Saints, 14 by the Jets. Saints average 5.6 yards a play, 5.3 for the Jets. And the Saints had 325 total passing yards versus the Jets, 205 yards. The Saints had a couple of sacks as well. So did the Giants. The Saints rushed the ball 25 times for 80 yards versus the Jets doing it 22 times for 95 yards. Not so good there. The Saints in the red zone were 1-4. Got to clean that up. But, of course, that's going to get cleaned up with Drew come back. Very shameful game as far as penalties are concerned. A lot of them weren't really penalties in my opinion, but 16 penalties for 142 yards, 15 penalties for the Jets for 128 yards, 31 penalties for well over 200 yards. This is ridiculous. And a lot of those weren't really turnovers. And, of course, time of possession, the Saints 35-26 versus the Jets 24-34. 405 total yards by the Saints, 300 by the Jets, 1 turnover by the Jets, 22-16 on the turnover edge in front of a crowd of over 74,000 screaming people. Most of that you could hear, it was the Saints in the building. I mean, a lot of times when they score, I mean, I tell you what, the Saints travel well. You hear our fans are the loudest, and you can hear us. You heard us yelling over the Chargers people in Los Angeles last week. You hear us yelling over the people in Minnesota, and then you heard the Saints well over the Jets people today. So, I mean, we just travel well, man. I'm proud of my team, man. But anyway, before I get into the rest of the statistics, let's play what Coach Sean Payton had to say about tonight's outing and see what the old ball coach had to say about his team's performance today. Here's Coach Payton.
Yeah, look, we were able to gather some momentum on the first drive, made a few plays. It was good to see. Played a lot of different guys, combinations tonight. But I think there are a handful of things that were encouraging. You know, we turned the ball up. We forced a turnover early in the game. I thought our first units played well. I thought the seconds played better this week. It's good to get the punt return for a touchdown. I'm sure when we put the tape on, there'll be some things we want to clean up. But I was overall pretty encouraged.
You were encouraged with that aspect of the game. But what about how discouraged are you with the amount of penalties?
That was something that we got to look at. I'm anxious to see the film.
Sean, this is your first time being on the same field as Sam Darnold. Do you have any impressions of how he looked? Limited action, but
yeah, look, I think he's got a bright future. I'm a big fan of his. It's hard to judge sometimes in these games, but I was spending more time looking at our guys.
How did you feel about Deontay's performance tonight?
I thought it was pretty good. Thought it was pretty good. Whose phone is that? All right.
He's been on the verge of kind of popping one. Did you guys feel like?
I felt that way. Yeah, I think the sideline felt that way. There's been a handful of them. We've seen it. He's got good vision.
Did you go into this game with the idea that Drew and Thomas and Camaro would get one series, or was it?
No, it was more about the play. We had a phase one plan for all our guys, and we had a few early outs, and a lot of it just falls in the sequence of plays.
In the past, in this game, Drew's gotten maybe 2 or 3 series. Is it ever?
Well, back in 06, we used to go to halftime.
Actually, yeah, I was actually right
into the third quarter.
Used to get like over 40 snaps. Is that ever like because of Drew's perfectionism? Does he ever come to you and say, "Hey, I threw an interception on the first series. I really like
No,
another
I think
one."
it's different for players like him who've had the experience but are getting plenty of reps during the week. It's 12, 13 years ago, a lot of it was dependent on our team, and I think that you got to go by what you see in practice, and then as a coach, what you feel, and he's looked sharp during the week in practice. He looked sharp tonight.
A little off topic, but the Louisiana team won today, and they're playing for the whole thing.
So they beat Hawaii?
They did.
Congratulations for those guys.
How cool was that?
That's outstanding. How many days rest does this pitcher get? Yeah, I'm excited for him. We watched the game the other night.
Emmanuel Butler, a few catches tonight. It seemed like
He's doing well. Yeah, I'm pleased with how he's played.
Coach, when you have the amount of injuries that you had tonight, how does that affect you as a head coach for the evaluation process, especially this close to the regular season?
Injuries in the game tonight or going into the game?
Going into the game and also for
Well, look,
tonight.
there's 10 players that we didn't travel, that we felt like, wouldn't have played. So a handful of them will get back when we get back to work this week.
Sean, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Andrew Luck during
I heard briefly.
Yeah, just your thoughts on him.
Again, I'm focused on this team right now, not everyone else's fires.
Are Cook and is Cook expected to be out for a while?
We'll see.
I know you regarding what you just said. You're focused on your team, but I was
Yeah.
curious: have you ever had to talk a player out of retirement? Like, has a player ever come to you and you kind of had to go through, like a veteran player like him?
I mean, I can't recall. I mean, I can't recall that coming up. All right, thank you.
Coach Payton family, who's that damn phone belong to? And it kept ringing too. Need to slap the hell out of that security man for that one. But Coach Payton was a true professional. He ignored it and carried right on through and answered all the questions. That slapped the hell out of that guy with that phone, why don't you? But anyway, family, man, that's Coach Payton breaking it down, family, and telling you all the good information, man. And to be quite honest with you, man, I'm proud of how Coach Payton had a lot of mistakes, but Coach can't really take all that upon himself. Like all those penalties, a lot of those were just bad calls. Come on. Stupid, brainless calls those referees were making. Couldn't hit the man, push the quarterback on the ground, or it's roughing the quarter. They don't know which call is, and that's what's incredibly frustrating about the referees in this game. Absolutely insane to me. So in a few minutes, we'll get a hold of Drew Brees. He's up next and hear how his thoughts about his first and only action he's probably going to get in this game. So Drew Brees came out, had a pretty good contest. Let's get into some of the team statistics of the day dealing with it, starting with Drew. Of course, Drew was 4 of 6 for 68 yards, a touchdown on that drive, 144.4 on the rating, 1 TD in the game as Drew kind of cleaned up behind him. A better performance by Teddy Bridgewater, 15 of 26 for 143 yards. He was sacked 1 time, 73.1 on the rating. Taysom Hill, 8 of 13 for 127 yards. No picks, no interceptions by Taysom or Bridgewater in this affair, but the Saints offense, always moves with Taysom Hill. On the rush edge, top rusher was Dwayne Washington, 8 carries for 29 yards. He got his bell rung by that dirty little defensive back. Devine Zigbo looked real good as well, 6 carries for 20 yards on the night. Taysom had 2 rushes for 15 yards. Kerlin Williams who was a guy the Saints picked up. Hadn't heard too much from him. Used to play for the Arizona Cardinals. 4 carries for 9 yards in limited action. Alvin Kamara 2 for 4 yards, 2 rushes for 4 yards. Zach Lyon had 1 carry for 4 yards. Jacquizz Rodgers couldn't get it going. Receiving game, Dan Arnold 5 catches for 83 yards. He was targeted 6 times. One of those, it was just totally overthrew. Cyril Grayson 2 catches for 53 yards on 4 targets. Mike Thomas 2 catches for 39 yards and a score on 2 targets. Alvin Kamara 2 catches for 29 yards on 3 targets. Emmanuel Butler turned up his performance in the game. 4 catches for 27 yards on 5 targets. Devine Zigbo 2 catches for 23 on 3 targets. Deontay Harris had 2 catches for 18 yards on 3 targets. Dwayne Washington also caught 2 catches for 16 yards. A.J. Derby had 1 catch on 3 targets. Keith Kirkwood came back for the people that want to know where the hell Keith Kirkwood was at. He made an appearance. 1 catch, 11 yards off of 2 targets. Sammy Cobbs Jr., 1 catch, 8 yards off of 2 targets. Austin Carr, 2 catches, 8 yards off of 2 targets, and so on and so forth. That's pretty much it. But we had some questions answered as far as the offense is concerned, where you did get a hold and see more. The more I see of Devine Zigbo, it's not rocket science. If you know good football, you know what good football players look like and what they do. The Devine Zigbo, to me, is excellent. He's great. He has really good vision. And look at his feet. His feet work is it's beautiful. It's magnificent. How he literally shook that Jet defender out of his shoes. He was one-on-one in open field, and he just put the shake and bake on him and dropped him, broke his ankles. Ezigbo is absolutely phenomenal, and I want to see more of Devine Ezigbo. Dwayne Washington looked good, too, in this game, running hard and strong. Big dude, north to south runner. Did have a couple of catches to show you can catch the ball as well. But Devine Ezigbo is electric in the bottle, man. He's absolutely awesome to me, man. It was a good call thinking about Devine Ezigbo and what he can bring to this offense. So big ups to him. Now, we did have some appearances, I just said, from Keith Kirkwood. Didn't look outstanding. Sammy Cobbs Jr. Made a catch. You seen big Emmanuel Butler back in there. LaJardan Humphreys played, didn't record any stats, but he was out there. Also, we seen Alize Mack make a return to the game. Didn't record a statistic, but was out there on the field. We had a few injuries. Garrett Griffin, y'all know Garrett Griffin's a listener of the show. Garrett Griffin got hurt in this game, got rolled up under. And I've always said, when we played in high school, my old coach used to always say, to stop from getting rolled up on, clear out your guy. Clear him out. And if most of the times you see guys get rolled up on, it's because they're sitting there, and instead of rolling out their guy or pressing their guy or whatever you got to do, if you're moving, sometimes you can't. But on some of those plays where you moving and you got to push through, clear him out. Don't pity pat with him. Clear him out of there. Because you know that's your best choice as far as you're sitting there, people rolling around, falling, and you can get rolled up on, like what happened to Chris Clark and what happened to Garrett Griffin. He got rolled up on as he was trying to make a block. So hopefully he'll be all right. But those injuries now occurring underneath. Jared Cook didn't play because of, they say he was fine. They just didn't want to risk of putting him out there. But you have to look at that. You got Alize Mack returning at the right time. A.J. Derby is really something to watch. He, too, a veteran behind in the young guy position. Alize Mack really have to make an impression. We'll see what happens there. Robert said he didn't see LaJardan Humphrey. He was out there, Robert. He was there. He just didn't record a stack. He done nothing phenomenal tonight. He said T. Smith dropped one. Yeah, it's Traquan Smith he was talking all that mess about playing this way and that way, and I have not seen it translate. He had a few practices where he looked good, but he continues to struggle. He just don't look comfortable, and I don't know what you could do to him. Maybe, as time goes on, Traquan Smith will get a little bit better, but my goodness, man, Traquan Smith just don't look ready, man. He really, I don't know what to tell you about him. It says Iron Man Mike is ready. Humphreys, no separation today. Crass, he don't have much speed to separate. But he just didn't get a ball thrown his way today. He just didn't get a look. But he was out there making a few blocks and this and that kind of stuff. But it's just, man, like I tell you, man, it's kind of difficult, man. If you don't get the ball thrown this way. And there was a rush. The Jets was putting a rush on, and some of those quarterbacks was under duress to make passes. He just didn't get one thrown his way. The right one says, it's time, and his balance and his throat is amazing. The defense can never predict how. Jason says Traquan needs to step up or step out. They're not going to get rid of Traquan yet. It's just his second year. They still want to see what he can do. But good grief, he got to really step his butt up. You got undrafted guys coming on this team like Keith Kirkwood, Emmanuel Butler, Sammy Cobbs Jr., and all these undrafted guys are outplaying you, and you're a third-round draft pick for Central Florida, who some people say was supposed to be a replacement for Ted Ginn Jr. You have the undrafted guys. I mean, most of the undrafted guys are outplaying Traquan Smith right now. Roscoe says, I'm going to catch the highlights after Pig do this thing. Thank you, Roscoe. Adada says Butler made a few plays and Harris made a nice sideline catch. Like I'm saying, they outplaying Traquan Smith. Crash says he's a 4-5 guy. Roscoe says, I got faith in Traquan. He'll definitely step up for sure. Give him time to find his rhythm. They're going to give him time. We ain't going to be too hard on Traquan Smith because I know he might catch it. We seen glimpses of it, like when that Washington Redskin game, he had a 200 receiving yard game. He had that big game against Washington, but he couldn't duplicate that success. It could be an aberration, or it could just be a peek into his potential. But his body language, and I pay attention to body language, man, I really do. I'm instinctive, and I pay attention to a body language. People can say whatever they want with their mouth, but watch the body language of individuals. And Traquan Smith body language talks to me and says that I'm not confident. I mean, you look at guys like Emmanuel Butler, Keith Kirkwood, and even guys like Deontay Harris. They get out there. These are undrafted guys. They don't know nothing about no NFL. They just got here. You got Traquan Smith submerged into his second year of the playbook. He's supposed to know some stuff, and he getting instruction from some of the best wide receivers in the team. One of the best wide receivers in the league. And Mike Thomas, it's like you ain't on the roster where you don't have no help to figure it out on your own. You have all the opportunities, no excuses for this. You're dropping passes in games. The second straight game where you're dropping passes. I mean, it's not a good look, Traquan. The undrafted guys are beating you. Come on now. Hey, D. Who that to you, baby? But he says football fast. Rockwell say who that, Orleans. Hey, Barbara Bailey, what's going on? Who that to you? Welcome to the live stream. Did Taysom get any snaps? Oh, yeah, he got plenty of snaps. Taysom did really well in this game. Taysom Hill was awesome. He was 8 of 13 for 127 yards. He was sacked once, but he had a QB rating of 94.1. And he scrambled twice for 15 yards, one of which was 11-yard scramble, which he did pretty good. So he did put his legs into effect a couple of times. He had one when he rushed in, but it was called back on penalty. I mean, it was absolutely sad, some of these penalties we were getting hit with. Verlin says P-Rob is trash. Yeah, and I think the Saints staff really starting to look at him too. P-Rob, we talked about this 2 podcasts ago, actually more than that. And the question was asked to me then about what kind of players P-Rob, Patrick Robinson. What are we getting from him, Q? And I said, it depends. Are we getting the P-Rob that helped the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago win a Super Bowl? Or are we getting the P-Rob that we had here the first time around, the guy out of Florida State who couldn't cover a bed? And looked like we got the guy out of Florida State who couldn't cover a bed. I mean, this is, it works sometimes on your second time around. Jari Evans came back and it worked for him. He came back and played well. But Patrick Robinson, to me, he had that ankle injury. He looked good starting the season off. Then he had that broken ankle against Atlanta last year, and that just cut him short. Now, we know he's an older cornerback, and usually when you get a ankle injury like that, that's even slows you even further. But he's been in camp. He hadn't missed any games, and he still looked rusty. Now, the first game he got tore up with the Vikings, I said to myself, didn't I say it, family? I said, let's just attribute it to Russ. Then the next time he looked terrible. Then this game he get beat again. I can't save you. I mean, I can't say it. I can't be like, okay, well, forget P-Rob and just toast Ken Crawl and P.J. Williams every time I get an opportunity. It don't work like that. Patrick Robinson is making too much money to be that bad, And I'm saying this could be it for him. The Saints were playing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at the nickel. He never seen a safety. He had Chris Banjo back there and Terrell Williams and other safeties in a safety position. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was lined up as a nickel all night long. That's telling you something. That's telling you something. If I got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he look better than Patrick Robertson, which he does, then why I'm paying Patrick Robertson all this money to hold on to something that shabby? Now, of course, he can kick into effect in the regular season, and you can say, okay, well, we'll buy it on him and see what he do in the regular season. But if you get rid of Patrick Robertson, at least keep one of those veteran cornerbacks, somebody like maybe Kevon Webster or one of them, because Kevon Webster was supposed to push him. It wasn't supposed to be P.J. Williams. P.J. Williams wasn't even in the conversation talk about no nickel position. You know how I feel about P.J. P.J. the best tackling cornerback you have, but he can't go to bed. He can't cover a bed. We both know this. Who that, Adrian? JT said, remember, I said the Saints will cut Smith, the wide receiver, and cut your losses with Patrick Robertson. Remember, I said this. I'm going to remember JT now. JT says the Saints will cut Traquan Smith and Patrick Robertson. Patrick Robertson is not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't think they're done with Traquan Smith yet. I just don't. There is no wide receivers that's doing that much better to say, oh, yeah, we just got to keep him and get rid of Traquan Smith. They're still high on Traquan. I don't see him cutting him, not this year anyway. Robert says Patrick Robertson's still out of shape. Crash said Taysom played with the threes. Scoop said must have been polluted Aaron Philly that made trash P-Rob play so well. I don't know what it was. You know what it could have been? Two great safety play. Malcolm Jenkins was back there. They had two really solid safeties back there. And let me tell you something. Two really great safeties, a solid safety play could make cornerbacks that are trash look really good. Look what it did to Mike McKenzie. Let me throw that one at you there. How about that one, Paul? Paul, try this one on sides. We'll talk about trash can. You try Mike McKenzie. Remember that, Paul? How about that trash can? And he came from Green Bay. We picked up trash Mike McKenzie. He was supposed to be this dude coming in. That dude was awful. He was awful. He was trash. And it was proof positive that he looked good because he had safeties that was on top that made play. You had Leroy Butler and Darren Sharp at the time up there. And those guys were playing really good ball. And they made Mike McKenzie look like he was something special. And he came down here and had no safety help. He looked just like he was supposed to look, which is absolute trash. Mike McKenzie. Pull that name out of the dumpster can. But that's some of the things, man. Which Patrick Robertson you getting? Will the Saints take a chance to keep Patrick Robertson despite his horrible play in the regular season? Because truth be told, in the preseason, when the regular season come around, you would rather have some vets at that position. You know, Paul says, "Oh yeah, you remember Mike McKenzie." We were talking about Milton Mack and all those guys and Vince Buck. How we threw out all them trash cans and then put out Mike McKenzie along with them? Come on now. I need to Saint slap myself for that one. Paul says Patrick Robinson on the bubble for sure. Dada says, who do we keep, fam? P-Rob or Ken Crawley? Boy, we digging at the bottom of the rotten apple cart, man. If we got to look out for either one of them dudes, man. But if I have to really bet on it, if you push me, I would keep P-Rob. Something tell me, oh my goodness, Dale Carter. Good Lord, Paul. Good Lord. Paul is old school Saints, man. Paul pulling out he was talking about Milton Mack the other day. I don't know. See, a lot of fans in the building remember Milton Mack. They remember Alex Molden. We was talking about all these trash cans that we had at cornerbacks for all these years, you know. And I was throwing out all those names, and we forgot to make mention of Mike McKenzie. Boy, he was awful. He sucked. He was terrible. But I would say, Dada, I'm going to say who that to you first of all, fam. And I would say P-Rob. I would take P-Rob over Ken Crawley because Ken Crawley can't catch even with the sticky gloves on. Even with the Gorilla Glue and the sticky gloves on, he can't catch an interception. He actually turned around to face it and still dropped it. I can't help you, family. I can't help you. So I would say P-Rob because I know at least Patrick Robinson can catch an interception for you. Ken Crawley won't. If he catch an interception, it's purely by accident. I mean, seriously, come on. Fred Thomas, oh my goodness. We mentioned him too, Lionel. Who that? We talked about garbage can Fred Thomas. Paul just mentioned garbage can and Dale Carter. Remember, Dale Carter came from the Chiefs. He was supposed to be good. He was trash. And then of course the Saints. Remember, we got Eric Allen down here, who was one of the top cornerbacks. Oh my goodness, Tyrone Drakefoot. All the trash cans are coming out tonight. All the garbage cans is coming out tonight. We had Tyrone Drakefoot. We had Dale Carter. We had Alex Molden. We had Mike McKenzie, and Jabari Greer was actually good. Jabari Greer was a solid cornerback. He was dealing with a lot of injuries, but he was a solid cornerback. Can't ride with you on Jabari Greer. Jabari Greer was the truth, He was the truth. But good grief. We had some garbage cans down here for many years. Jason David, even though Jason David was a small cornerback, he did make interceptions. He was just, I don't know what they was thinking when you signed a guy 5'7" cornerback. And you got guys in the league 6'2". See, that's the insanity of some of these coaches, man. We really be thinking these guys are geniuses, and they out of their top. They're insane and crazy and twisted and deranged. But let's see what else the family talking about. I'm sorry, family, it scrolled on me. Let me get back to where I was. All right. I'm sorry, family. It scrolled on me. I was trying to keep up with some of your commentary. Okay, here we go. We're running out of time. Robert says running out of time in the game clock for the first time. D says what happened with the play clock tonight? According to the clock, the clock on the field. The actual game clock malfunction, and the referees was keeping the game on the field. So that's what happened. But some people think that the game was actually over when it was supposed to, but the referees, it was all just junk. You had a crappy, pathetic referee staff, and then they was called 30-something flags for real, man. That's totally ridiculous. 30-something penalties, and it was just the preschool referees out here. They don't know nothing, man. Gary says Ken Crawley's gone. I agree with you, Gary. Jason says CJG need to be put in the slot for real though. Yeah, they actually looking at doing that, because if you think about it, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a guy that's very special. He's one of those special guys, and if you've seen his play, he was the guy next to him saying you need help. He was waving him off. I got this. I love that. Because that guy's a playmaker. You got Marshawn Lattimore, Eli Apple. If he lines up in the slat, you got 3 really good defensive backs. That's something special. I would still like to have a veteran somewhere in there, not named P.J. Williams or Ken Crawley, perhaps a Kayvon Webster. Maybe they keep Patrick Robinson and move him back to the dime position. So that still provides you security as well. It's simply up to the Saints, what they're going to do with Robinson. They might keep him going into the regular season. They might feel they want to have a veteran there. So it's different things that can happen in that position. But I do like CJG in the slot. That's no doubt about it. Roscoe said Jets fans cheering for the black and gold were like the Mike Trouts of the NFL. Can't no one hate on my bless you boys. Who that to my family, 504 and the 20 to the 702. Big ups to you there, Roscoe. Thank you, family. Yeah, you listen to the cheers that was in the building. We was like they were playing in Tulane Stadium somewhere, man. You would think that with all that green going on, every time the Saints make a play, you would thought they was in Tulane building, man. Seriously. Dada says, true season-wise, give me the experience over Crawley, so I'm say P-Rob, he may get better. He was out of most of last season. Crawley's rap for him and no confidence. He's no confidence, no doubt about it, man. Can't catch an interception to save his life. If they had a guy saying, Ken Crawley, if you don't catch this touchdown pass, I'm going to pick you up and drop you in a pool of hot lava. He would drop the interception, and they would drop him in the lava. He could not catch a touchdown to save an interception to save his life. He'd be a burning. You know what? I tell you what. Elite say those penalties to get out of our system by the next game. Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Let's see the family dying laughing, son's phone ringing. Rockwell said watching the game. Hot boys, we got a lot of stunners this year. Hope the D can play shutout football. How you guys liked it? The pass rush, because that's something that was the Saints was trying to get after them. I seen some plays that was happening. I mean, still they were trying, but we really still need some help with the pass rusher. Even though I seen Bijak did get a sack toward the end of the game playing against the Thirds, but the Saints, my goodness, man, we need some help. When the regular season starts, we need to consider getting some help at that pass rush position, because if you can't generate with the four, I know Cam is going to do what he's going to do. Davenport's going to do what he do when he's healthy. And we're going to generate, even if we have to send a fifth pass rusher in there or a linebacker to make some things happen. But, man, we need to really, ratchet that up. Shandon, who that, baby? Dan Arnold was the MVP of the game. Picture that. Picture that, Shandon. If there was an MVP of today's game, and I didn't even consider that, you have to, you got to, you're right, Shandon. You have to give it Dan Arnold. All of the punishment Dan Arnold's been taking, he turned in a pretty decent performance tonight. We got to give it to him when he do it right, man. We really do. Paul said, what is the report on Sheldon Rankins coming back in the next 2 months? That is absolutely right. He was that's what we're hearing from, for 2 months for him to come back. The Saints are going to kind of walk him slow back into it. That's what I've been getting, Paul. Barbara says, thank you. I'm already a member, just joining on my girl's phone. All right. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Jerome said, what kind of questions asking me about another team player? Elise said, I don't like running back Williams. Curlin Williams, don't worry about it. He'll be a afterthought real soon. I don't think the Saints going to keep that man. Some people think Saints won't keep 3 nose tackles because Edwards not doing nothing. I don't know. 3 nose tackles. I think they'll keep 3, not 3 nose tackles. I don't know. Maybe 2. I know. Well, you look at Malcolm. Well, you look at Malcolm Brown. You could consider him a nose tackle. I mean, and there's Sylvester Williams, who's just absolutely incredible. I mean, he's just a mountain of a guy. You can barely move that guy. I wouldn't think the Saints would think about getting rid of him, but you never can tell. But the Saints are top 2 or 3 in stopping the run. I think they were second last year in stopping the run, and then the 20-something with the pass overall, like 15 total defense. I don't know. I mean, it depends, because Taylor Stallworth, you got guys that can kind of do a little bit of both. Taylor Stallworth can stuff. Onyemata can do the same thing. So, I mean, they have what they call defensive tackles, guys that can do a little bit of both, play defensive tackle and regular end, like what Sheldon Rankins is. You got guys that got a little multiplicity that can do both things there. Even like Mario Edwards Jr. is a guy that can play interior, either, a defensive tackle, or you can kind of slide him out to be a poor man pass rusher if you need him to kind of shut the edge for you. I wouldn't recommend it, but he can do it, though, if you want him, if you need him to. Crash said Devine Zigbo is so fluid catching the football. Man, he just turned around the ball right there. He got quick feet, great vision. The guy, I'm telling you, he's very special. And I've seen it when I watched him in college. He was very productive. He fits the Saints system. He can run. He could take a hit. He can lower his shoulder, as you can see. He can shake guys up. He's totally comfortable on that field like he belongs. Look how he plays. He get out there and try to make a play. Do he look like he's indecisive or not confident like Traquan Smith is? He's like out there doing his thing. And I got to give it to Devine Zigbo. I've been calling and saying this guy should be on the team. Dwayne Washington. The Saints decided to keep 5 backs, including that fullback, Zach Line, with that 5 back. 4 of those backs, you already know 2 of them is the other one, Dwayne Washington, and it's kind of running down Devine Zigbo. You do not get rid of Devine Zigbo. I'm just going to be honest with you. Keep Devine Zigbo, whatever you do. Will, who that, Will? Who that to you, baby? Roscoe said Taysom's 8 for 13, nice for no picks. That's money. Teddy needs to join Luck and take long vacations. Shaking my head. Roscoe hard on old Teddy B. Roscoe, Crash says he performed well with the 3s and 4s. Guy will be cut in 2 weeks. Damn. Roscoe says, old Ziggy, big old that man is a monster. He swallows defenses like Deuce, future star guaranteed. Elise said, just throw MT the ball, son. Will said, hit the thumbs up. Thank you, family. Do that for me, family. All the family in the live stream right now listening. Do us a favor here. Hit the thumbs up, because every time you hit the thumbs up, it increases the algorithm to bring in great and talented and brilliant Saints people like yourself to the live stream for a great discussion on the Saints. And hit that live button. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing those links as well. Elite says E. Butler did something. He was good in this one now. He made a point to do some stuff and get back on the landscape. And that's one thing. Sean, who that Sean? Sean says, what 4 running backs are we going to keep? It's a no-brainer, bro. Yeah, it is a no-brainer. The 4, it's all like we said earlier. We only have 1 preseason game left, and that's Thursday. So it's a quick turnaround. So right now, a lot of the questions that we had prior to this show or to this game have been answered. If we keep 4 running backs, we already know who 2 of the 4 are, and we already know who other 2 are. It's not going to be Curlin Williams or Jaquiz Rogers. Come on. So that leaves Devontae Zigbo, who had a lot of snaps tonight, and Dwayne Washington, who had a lot of snaps tonight. I don't see Sean Payton going into the season with 3 running backs. And Dwayne Washington plays special teams. I don't think Devon does. I don't know if he does or doesn't. I'm going to have to research that. But I know Dwayne Washington does. But if I'm Sean Payton and I have Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, I want 4 running backs for that edge and bring Devontae Zigbo in there. He's not exactly an Alvin Kamara, but he does a lot of things Alvin Kamara could do. He's a guy that can run in between the tackles. He's a guy that can run around. He's a guy that can lay his shoulders. He's a guy that shake you out your damn shoes. He's a guy that catches the ball like a wide receiver. You need as many of those guys, those weapons as you could possibly have in your offense. I say he's too valuable of a young back to lose. And the Saints should keep Devontae Zigbo if they're going to keep Dwayne Washington. Keep him, as well. So that's my fault. And that kind of solved its own self, family, as some of you see some of these running backs snaps kind of fall away. Who that, Demi? I hope running back Washington is okay. He played well tonight, and that Dan Arnold brought it. But can he play as well as he did during the regular season consistently? Good question, Demi. That's a big question that's yet to be determined on Dan Arnold. Whether or not he could or couldn't. But his chances of making a team has improved because of the loss of Garrett Griffin. So if you're looking at other guys could possibly push him off the team into a practice squad capacity, it's either A.J. Derby or perhaps Alize Mack. And the way he caught passes today, he definitely helped himself in that regard. And Dan Arnold he's a guy that kind of got away from that people kind of geared away from because they got emotional about everything. But he's supposed to take as much punishment like Marcus Williams did. When Marcus Williams took that punishment, he should have took punishment too. So he was shielded a lot by Sean Payton, but I'm not going to get in that today. If there was a player of the game, you got to give it to Dan Arnold. He turned in a good performance tonight. And there you go. Dada said, I don't believe in Traquan. He plays like he's scared. I said that. I constantly said that. I've been saying that for the last couple of years. He doesn't look comfortable out there. He looks like he's scared. He doesn't look like he belongs on the field with the Saints, and I don't like that. He's supposed to be a third-round selection that's supposed to be bringing it. I agree with you on that, Dot. I've been saying that for years. His body language says that he's scared. When Mike Thomas snatches the ball out the air, he says, this is my goddamn football. I'm going to catch it. This is my ball, man. Traquan Smith, when he had an opportunity to make a similar catch as Mike Thomas did, what did he do? He did the exact opposite. Dropped it, then hit the ground and get up and walk away. I'm like, what? No, dude, no. You got to make this right. You got, and that's the thing I was saying. Well, Keith Kirkwood beat him out last year for snaps. The Saints were giving him every opportunity to play last year and develop. And they're going to do the same thing for him this year because they want to know early whether or not they got somebody here. He's the only drafted wide receiver in the Saints mix behind the 2 big guys, which is Mike Thomas and Ted Ginn, the starters. He's the only other drafted guy. All the rest of those guys are undrafted guys trying to make the team at wide receiver. All of them. Well, maybe, I don't know, Austin Carr, he might have been a pick. But, I mean, seriously, higher rated guys with some, that has some experience besides Austin Carr. It's crazy. Paul says, Q, do you think the Saints will look for a fullback elsewhere? I don't know. They brought in that guy, and I think they still like Zach Line. I think they probably will end up sticking with Zach Line. I think Zach Line is their guy. I Saints usually carry one fullback into the offseason. But I think Zach Line is their guy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put somebody on the practice squad, just to have that. But I think Zach Line is going to be the guy going into this one year, Paul. Dada says, Elite Goods, I believe Butler gets better with more reps. No doubt about it. Who that, Cheryl? Good evening to you too, baby. Roscoe says Patrick Robinson's another Jarvis. Oh my goodness, Jarvisburg. Good Lord. Y'all guys bringing out all the dumps, all the dented trash cans tonight. Glenn says Dan Arthur had a nice game. I agree with you, Glenn. Will says, Big Q, did our pass rush do anything? I didn't get to see the game. Pass rush did a lot better in the game, Will. They did a lot better. They were responsible for 2 sacks in the game. You would see some. Davenport almost had a sack. He kind of wrapped himself around the guy, grabbed his towel. Got to finish the play. When you get there, he came on a stunt. It was beautifully done, too. And he came right up the middle on Sam Darnold, but could not wrap him up and put him down. Now, the Saints roughed Sam Darnold up. They did knock him around in the game, but they weren't able to get 2 sacks, and one of those sacks came, they came later on in the game. But the Saints defense, with the first team defense, I know what Cam could do. I know what Davenport could do if healthy. I just thinking that, I would like to get more pass rushers to add in the mix with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson did all right in this game, too. He kind of ratcheted up his play because he's starting to get a lot of pressure on him. A lot of people asking questions about him, like they're asking questions about Traquan Smith. You've been here for 3 years. You need to do something. You look at what David Onyemata did. David Onyemata was taken in the same draft as Sheldon Rankins later on, I think in the 4th round out of Canada. Totally raw. The man was totally raw. Look at him now. I'm an absolute brute and beast. I mean, you don't have to ask where's David Onyemata when he's on the field, or Taylor Stallworth for that matter. Taylor Stallworth and David Onyemata, those guys are disruptive. That's the term. Trey Hendrickson has shown the propensity. Let's see if he can sustain it. But his main concern, and my main concern about Trey Hendrickson has always been his injury. Could he play? And could he be there when we need him? And that's what I'm talking about. And this is imperative in the Super Bowl. If you guys want to win a Super Bowl, we need more pass rushers than what we have. Verlin says Big Q only got to see the parts of the game, but wasn't that Traquan Smith breaking open to the middle when Breeze kind of forced the ball into Thomas in double coverage? I'm have to look up that play, Verlin. I'm gonna have to look up that play. I don't remember if that was him or not. I don't remember. Paul said Dale Carter was trash. Yeah, we got him toward the back end of his career. Eric Allen for us was trash, Paul. Remember we got Eric Allen, the great cornerback. Back in the day was Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson. A lot of people don't remember. Rod Woodson played cornerback before they made that adjustment to safety with Pittsburgh. But it was Deion Sanders. It was guys like it was Deion. It was Rod Woodson. It was Eric Allen, who was playing with the Philadelphia Eagles at the time. And then there was Aeneas Williams down there. He was playing with the Rams or the Cardinals. I think it was the Cardinals. He was with the Cardinals. Aeneas was with the Cardinals first before he went to the Rams. He was always a good cornerback, Aeneas Williams. He didn't get that kind of credit because he wasn't flashy. But Eric Allen the Saints got Eric Allen toward the tail of his career. He was trash. So I mean, it was we was unfortunate, man. Lionel says Fred Thomas. Oh, he was terrible. Tyrone Drakeford. All them guys was horrible. Trash can you. That's what we call them. D says. Hold on here. D scrolled on me. Let me get back up here. I hate when it happens, when it scrolls on it. Let me see. I'm sorry. It just dropped down, way down. Oh, family. I'm trying to get to you. Jay said one of the best cornerbacks we ever had was Jabari Greer. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Paul C. Usama Young. Oh, my goodness. Roscoe said Mike McKenzie. That's a name I haven't heard since the Dick era. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We take it back on him. That's how you know who true Saints fans are. When you can go back and some of them names bring up all them trash cans and from back in the day. Bring up all them old trash cans. We talk about Toy Cook, Fred Thomas, Paul brung out Milton Mack and all them guys from back in the day. Usama Young, he was straight trash from Kent State. Whoa, he was terrible. Boy, you talk about absolute trash. Just burnt trash. Well, ain't you? Y'all guys going way back here. Elise says you think they'll take Key Craw or P-Rob for him. Okay. DLP 2600. Who that, baby? He snuck up in here. Saints were ranked number 2 against the run last year. Okay. Yeah, I know it was either 2 or 3, but with this personnel, we got to get better. Demi says, Q, what's your thoughts concerning Webster? Do you think he'll make the team? I'm not seeing much of him. Didn't see too much of him in the game. In this game, Demi, not looking good for the home team, and that's a shame. I want to see more of Kevon Webster because you're seeing Patrick Robinson and P.J. Williams look terrible. I've seen more of Ken Crawley. I know what these guys can do. Let me see what Kevon Webster. I ain't see too much of Kevon in this game. Maybe I'm going to go back and look at the snap count, repetition counts to see if he got any snaps. I know he was in there. We just didn't see much of him in this thing here. But it's not looking good, Demi, for Kevon Webster. And that's too bad because I'm thinking what he bringing to the team could really have helped out, man. Really, I hope they give him a good luck and look in the next game. Elise, join our team. The draft is for 1 p.m. Eastern time. No, it's Central time. Central time, Elite. It'll be not tomorrow, but the following Sunday. It's Sunday the 1st. September the 1st at 12 p.m. Central time. Okay, so I don't know what time zone you're coming from, fam, but it's 1 p.m. Central time. So, that's just to get that straightened out. Gary said PJ not suspended. Should be cut. He should be cut. He ain't done nothing to deserve it. We are the Who That Nation. Who that, baby? Who that to you? Butler and Paul said Butler looks like Lonzel Mo Hill. Lonzel Hill. Good grief. Yeah, Paul, you old school, brother. Dada says Emmanuel Butler showed his strong hands with some nice catches. He rebounded. He did rebound. He was out. Jerome said he was out there on kick return. Paul said Cedric Mack was trash. Cedric Mack was pretty bad, man. These were some trash cans. Where we get all these trash cans from? I just don't understand. Cheryl said, what happened to Teddy? Was he still under the weather? He was awful. He wasn't that bad, Cheryl, this time around. He actually played pretty good. It just looks like that. And I'll tell you why. Because the offense don't move. It don't look right with Teddy Bridgewater back there. You've seen how different it is when you see Breeze out there with most of the starters. Then they move to some of the starters still remain, and you put Teddy Bridgewater in there. The Teddy Bridgewater moves around, does what he do. The offense doesn't look the same. And I'm saying that he has to be Drew Brees, but it's things that you can learn from Drew Brees. We ain't asking you to be Drew Brees. We asking you to pick up on his preparation. If he using mental exercises to help the game slow down in his head to see where he gonna go, he's prepared. He knows what he's gonna do. He has a game plan in his head. That's what makes Drew Brees so great, and he get out there and execute the offense. Now he has been in the same offense for 10 years, and he can run this offense pretty much in his sleep. He has mastered this offense. Let's get that understood. He's been in this offense. He knows this offense probably better than Sean Payton does. And that says a lot because Sean Payton is the offensive mastermind. But it just goes to show you exactly, how great Drew Brees is when given time. But Teddy Bridgewater is a really intelligent quarterback, too, one of the smartest in the league. He should not be looking this bad. Even if he's playing against, he plays against a few starters, then when you move a couple of second stringers in there, throwing the ball, sailing the ball over their head and all this kind of old stuff. Teddy Bridgewater numbers tonight looked a lot better than what he did in the second game because he was sick. But prior to the first game, when he actually looked at pretty decent in a couple of practice prior to that, he was actually starting to trending up before the sick game. So Teddy Bridgewater, it's just the offense don't move with Teddy Bridgewater in there. You could tell it doesn't. We stammer and stutter when Teddy Bridgewater's in there, and it's a shame, man. We should be a lot better than we are with him in there, just to be honest with you. DLP 2600 says Saints need to look at O-line and defensive for trades or waiver wires this weekend to add some solid players. I will look at trading Bridgewater to get some value for him while he's under contract. Taysom backup. Really tough commentary there by DLP 2600. Brother saying offensive lineman and defensive end is a position. Third defensive end pass rusher. You can never have too much of them. And the backup offensive linemen have been looking pretty craptastic. Just to be honest with you, they've been looking pretty craptastic. And that's the thing. We talk about Oma. Did anybody see Patrick Omameh block out his own damn man? Did anybody see that? What the hell was you thinking, man? Did anybody else see Patrick Omameh or whatever his name, Omameh or Omamah or whatever his name is? Did anybody see him block his own damn man out? What was that guy thinking? Seriously. What was you thinking? He blocked his own man out. Good grief. I mean, you got to get Will Clapp didn't look all that terrific. Cameron Tom looked good. Ryan Groy didn't look all that fantastic. Newhouse, I didn't even remember seeing Marshall Newhouse. That's how, and if he did play, he was uninspiring to me. I couldn't even remember whatever the hell he did. So yeah, the Saints have been doing their due diligence trying to find decent backup offensive linemen. My God, man. I mean, maybe they just have some off games, but I thought we was in a better position backup-wise than we were. But definitely on the defense, I agree with you, that DLP 2600. Thank you for the comment. Roscoe says, Teddy makes a great gumbo mascot. He has some great dancers. Crash says, Teddy doesn't have much trade value. It ain't happening anyway. Sean will give him every opportunity to succeed. And New Orleans is absolutely right. He hasn't given up on him. And DLP, let me tell you this. Sean Payton's not going after defensive pass rushers. He doesn't see it as a position of need. Every time something happens, he drops a player. He goes for an offensive lineman. He goes for a wide receiver. He might even go for a defensive back. But he loves going after running backs and linebackers. He doesn't see anything wrong with the pass rusher. He believes Trey Hendrickson is the answer to the backup pass rusher. I don't know who the fourth pass rusher is going to be. But the Saints have absolutely, I mean, Sean Payton and Dennis Allen sees absolutely no issue with the pass rushers they have currently, obviously, because they have not brought in anybody to try to push these guys. I mean, it's crazy. But we'll see. Paul says Maurice Hurst was good with New England. He was. Crash Force Hurst from New Orleans. All right, yeah, I ain't know that. Dada says, y'all remember Jimmy Spencer? Yes, and I'm trying to forget him. DLP 2600 says Vince Buck, Toy Cook, Brett Maxey. Vince Buck was trash, garbage can. I think he owns a transmission business in New Orleans somewhere. One of these transmission companies. I seen him in commercials a long time ago. He was garbage. He was dumpster juice. He was garbage and trash. And Toy Cook was absolutely burnt toast every day. I don't know how he survived in a league. He was so trash and pathetic. And Brett Maxey was actually a pretty decent center. Brett Maxey and Gene Atkins. There you go. Gene Atkins and Brett Maxey was solid safeties for the Saints for many years. Those guys was awesome. And DLP said Brett Maxey was very solid. Dada says, I thought Bridgewater played well. Some throws were off, but some of the wide receivers dropped a lot of passes. Sean D says, on the mark about Teddy B. Jason says Dave Whammer was toilet juice. God, good grief, Dave Whammer. He went back on that one. Paul said Teddy looks like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Teddy needs to be traded. Wow. The fam hard on Teddy tonight, and he actually did pretty decent. Boy, I hate to see if he have another bad game. The family going to be running him out with pitchforks and all kind of stuff. Paul said Mike Buck had an arm but was too average. Oh, Mike Buck could throw the ball 100 yards. But he'll put a hole in it if you had to make a short pass to you. Verlin says, I agree with you, Q. I'm glad our family are here. A true dat, who dats that go way back. Brown bag gang. That's right. You hear the names. You hear the names, fam. You know how many people came through the black and gold down here? And in the family talking about all these guys, Gene Atkins, Brett Maxey, Jason David, Mike McKenzie, Toy Cook, Jimmy Spencer, Dave Whammer, all these dumpster cans, these trash cans, all this dumpster juice, Jason David. I mean, all this stuff in here. Man, wow. But anyway, fam, let's get ready to go to our next interview here. We got it keyed up. The next one on the mic is Drew Brees. Breezes is on the mic. He gonna talk about his performance tonight. Here's Breezes.
Patriots' big story tonight, obviously, is the Andrew Luck announcing his retirement. It was pretty stunning. What's your reaction to it?
Yeah, I think I'm probably like everybody else, a bit surprised and stunned too. We heard it when we were on the sideline, actually. Somebody had gotten wind of it during the game. So, listen, Andrew's a friend. We'll exchange text messages with him from time to time. So I'll be reaching out to him to check on him.
Drew, not a ton of work for you tonight, but obviously efficient. Pretty kind of what you would have hoped for in terms of execution.
Yeah. It was. Anytime you can go down and get points, get a touchdown, that's good. Felt like it was pretty efficient for the most part. It wasn't a big sample, right? Big sample size. I don't even know how many total plays we ran on that. 8? Yeah. I was hoping to get 15 or 20, but I know there was a plan to pull a few of us out, after a short while and get some other guys work. But always good to go down and get points.
Drew, this is your first time on the field with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
What was kind of your message to him when you greeted him after the game, and did he have anything to say?
Yeah. So I'd actually met him during the off season. We were at an event together and actually had a chance to chat quite a bit. Been been impressed with him, just from what I've seen and kind of the way that he's handled, everything. That's a tough position. Obviously, a lot of hype, a lot of expectations. I think he's handled it well, and he's only gonna continue to improve and get better and better as they build this team around him and all the other pieces as well. So I think obviously he's got a ton of upside, a ton of opportunity.
Kind of hit you up for any advice this summer when you guys crossed paths, or
yeah, we talked a little shop. It was at Super Bowl, so it was right at the end of the season. So yeah, we talked ball a little bit. But yeah, he seems like an extremely sharp kid who obviously has a really bright future.
Drew, as you mentioned, small sample size, but do you kind of feel like you and Mike picked up where you left off last season?
Yeah, he caught a couple balls, a couple big plays, right? So yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, it's only 8 plays, compared to the thousands of snaps we get in practice and everything else together. So we're constantly striving to get better and just be as efficient as we possibly can together.
You were talking about luck earlier.
Yeah.
Is there ever been a point in your career where the grind or anything made you briefly consider walking away, or the rehab grind? It seems like it's just so isolating on a player and mentally difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have your moments. You definitely have your moments, especially at the end of a hard-fought season, tough season, especially times where you maybe have been battling injuries and that kind of thing. I mean, we've all been there, I can't speak for exactly, his situation, but, I remember speaking to him when he was going through the shoulder issue, 2 years ago, and obviously that was a really tough deal, but man, he responded, right? Had such a phenomenal season last year, and that was the result of so much hard work from last offseason. I feel like I was privy to some of the things that he was doing to get himself back to playing again, and the people that he was working with, and so, man, I've always thought so highly of Andrew, still do. I mean, he's obviously a great football player, but I think anybody that's been around him would say, he's a great guy too. And so, man, you hate to see something like that, and I don't know if that's permanent or if that's just short term or what. But I mean, listen, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and in my opinion, and still has a ton of upside, right? And a ton of QB life left if he chooses to want to come back and do that.
I think those thoughts probably happen more than anyone knows. Just any player, like a player going through rehab or a player having a tough season.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen, this game is a grind. This game's a grind, and it is physically takes a physical toll, and it takes a mental toll, an emotional one, and you have to truly dedicate yourself and sacrifice a lot, and so I don't think any of us take that lightly. None of us take that for granted. We understand that it's a part of what we sign up for, but it's still doesn't take away from the fact that it can absolutely be a grind at times.
So how much do you kind of feel for him given his situation? A guy whose body just didn't cooperate.
I very much feel for him because, like I said, I know what he went through with the shoulder, and again, I don't know the circumstances around this other than I know he's been battling another injury this off season and into this training camp, and not sure if that has anything to do with it, but like I said, I mean, I think he's just a well-respected guy, right? Who I think everyone feels like, still has a lot of great football left in him if he chooses to want to do that. And we all love watching him play. I love watching his film. I like being around him. So I wish him the best, whatever that direction is for him. Yeah.
Obviously, a quarterback normally is the face of a franchise, but what's your reaction when you heard that the Colts fans booed him as he came out the field tonight?
Oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just catching up, so I'll weigh in once I have all the information. good.
All right.
That's Drew family. Drew chiming in, man, and giving his 2 cents, breaking it down for the family. And Drew Brees, as usual, shining a little light on the fact that for those who don't know, Andrew Luck, the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, retired. I guess he got fed up with all the injuries that he was going through, and he hung them up. Drew had a little conversation dealing with that. It's hard in the business, man. It's hard to win in this game and stay healthy. That's why we got to give credit where credit's due. Drew Brees continues to do it. And we have one of the best, and we have to really enjoy where we at right now, family. Because we talking about the dumpster juice and trash cans, cornerbacks from back in the day. We had a lot of subpar players down here for a long time that we was actually winning some games, and it was a lot of dark periods that we went through. When we went through football under Mike Ditka, who was absolutely insane. Half of his brain must have been missing when he was making drafts and picking up some of these persons. Absolute terror. Then went through the trash can season with Jim Haslett, Brown with Aaron Brooks. Oh my goodness, I faint. But under the Sean, then we had Jim Moore, who was entertaining. But under the Sean Payton era, it took the New Orleans franchise to new heights. So we remember all the trash can and dumpster years that we had. That what built us and made us into a strong team. And you see when you win, the fan base, even though we had brown bags, we rode with that team for a long time, and we ride out. Sooner or later, we knew that we would make it to the top, and we did. And we will. We still there now, and we will enjoy prolonged success because we are innovators at what we're doing. No doubt about it. So before I carry on, family, let me let the family know about Fantasy League. If you guys, I'm talking to all the family out there, if you guys are fantasy players, if you play on the Fantasy League, the Sports Coma, as you see in some of the advertisements roll, the Sports Coma has a fantasy league that we're doing, a 20-team league. There are about 7 spots, I believe, left out of the 20-team league. We announced it, I think, yesterday. And we got a lot of love from it. And, of course, just to give you some information, on the Sports Coma first annual fantasy league, the winner of the league gets $150, the runner-up $50. So if you're a fantasy ace and you want to put your skills to the test, join the Sports Coma Fantasy League. It is actually available right now, and I think we have 7 spots remaining. It's a first-come, first-served deal. Sean says he joined the league tonight. Big ups to you, Sean, and the fam trying to win some paper. But it's all about fun too, family, and it's our way of kind of reaching back to the family. And if I could have done more, I could have tried to do more, but the max we could have done was 20. So if you're a fantasy person, fantasy leaguer, you love playing fantasy football, try the Sports Coma Fantasy League, 20 teams, and I think about 6 or 7 spots are remaining. So if you guys are interested, it's a part of, you can go to NFL.com, and we'll make sure the information is posted on the link so that you guys can get the league number and password to sign up for the Sports Coma Fantasy League. And Roscoe says he down for some fantasy football. There you go. There you go, Roscoe. But yeah, family, we'll post some of that information so that you guys know. Like I said, it's first come, first serve now. And we only have 7 spots remaining. So whoever get those 7 remaining spots, it's going to be fun. And remember, not this Sunday, but Sunday the 1st of September, we will have it'll be September the 1st at 12 p.m. I'm sorry. Yes, it is 12. I'm going to put all the information in the chat and make sure everybody gets it for those who want to try to get those last 6 or 7 spots. Like I said, the winner of the fantasy league gets $150. Winner or runner up, $50. So that's just for some of the family that's interested in fantasy league. Also, just to let you know, you guys seen the advertisements for some of the shirts that we have. We have several designs on the Sports Coma Pro page dealing with the Saints. We have the Dat Slap shirt, one of the Dat Slap shirt. If you disrespect my Saints and the Sports Coma, I would Dat Slap the you know what out of you. That's one of the shirts we have with a big old hand on it. The Dat Slap shirt, we have that. It's a real popular shirt. The Chump Missioner shirt with a characterization of what appears to be Roger Goodell, with Chump circling the character's empty head with Fleur de Lis in between. Really nice. That's in the rest. You get that shirt in white or black. And remember, all the shirts that's there is also coffee mugs, towels, sheets, bedspreads, all that kind of keychains, all that beautiful stuff, the merchandise on the Pro Shop. And that link will be put in the description section for the Pro Store, so you guys can show your fandom or your family in style and support the platform with a nice, clean, stylish look. And with the promo code BIGQ10, all lower caps, BIGQ10, you get 10% off your purchase at the Pro Shop. And it's nice. It's stuff there for the guys, for the gals, as well as the kids too. You want to get your child in style. My sons have sports Coma gear. My sons love the Chump Missioner shirt. They like the established 2015 sports Coma shirt as well. It's a really nice. It depends on what you like. I like the I Ride and Die with my team shirt. That's one of my favorites as well. So everybody got their own favorites. So that I'll put the link in the description section below for the Fantasy League for information for the last 6 or 7 spots that we have. They're going fast, family. So if you're interested in doing it, you might want to sign up tonight before the spots are all gone. And if you want to purchase a tee, remember, Big Q10 gives you 10% off on your purchase. That code is good to the end of this month. So feel free to take advantage of that, family, if you will. And just to let the family know as well, we have console giveaways that'll be coming up next week for the consoles, the PS4 consoles from September to December. The Sports Coma and the PRO Media Network will be giving away consoles. We'll be giving a PS4 console giveaway and the Madden game. Who that, Tramal? I see you, baby. Who that? Welcome to the show. And that's awesome, man, that, we will be giving out consoles, PS4 gaming consoles, and the Madden 20 game. If you hadn't already got it, we'll be giving out consoles for the next 4 months. So if you want to be a part of that, we'll have the information and we'll have flyers and all that posted to let you know how you could sign up. It won't cost you a dime, baby. It's totally free as a giveaway. And it's one of the many great things we're doing here at the PRO Media Network and the Sports Coma, reaching out to our family with the fantasy leagues, with the merchandise, and now the game giveaways. I mean, it's just absolutely a great time, man, to be doing this as we moving into our 5th year of the Sports Coma broadcasting. So that's just awesome. And we just love it, man. Love it so much. And so we're going to get right back into it, family, and cover some of the stuff that we've been talking about with the game. Of course, the Saints come away with a fantastic win, 28-13. We learned a lot about today's show, and I want to go into the section of the show now when we hand out grades, family. And I want y'all to kind of get in there. And just to let you know, we've opened up the phone line so you can feel free to call the number. If you want to talk right here, this number right here, that number right there. We've got it. We got the phone lines open. You can talk to me live on the air, ask me questions, speak your concerns or comments. The lines are open right now. And or either hit me up in the chat if you have any questions, concerns, or comments. Talk to your boy on the chat. Let me know how you feel about today's performance by the Saints. Or do you feel comfortable going into the season? What we have? Talk to me. Let me know. And we're gonna do the grades while that's going on, family. So post games, I always hand out the grades for the Saints offense, defense, and special teams. So tonight we're looking at the offense. All right, family, we're going to go over it. And I want you guys to join me in this maneuver as well. Looking at the Saints offense, they put together over 405 yards. 325 of it was through the air, with just 80 on the ground. And they did have a total of 72 plays as a team overall. They had 15 first downs, passing first downs, 3 rushing touchdowns. They had 4 first downs due to penalty, and their third down efficiency was 8 of 19. They didn't go for it on 4th down at all. But the truth be told, what would you give the Saints offense? In my case, I looked at it and I said, you know what? As far as the Saints offense is concerned, what I seen from the Saints offensive concern, I gave them a B tonight, family. I gave them a B, a solid B. They did good. Drew Brees came in and set the bar Teddy Bridgewater didn't do anything terribly bad to disrupt that. And then on the back end, Taysom Hill actually maintained it. So I give the offense a solid B tonight. A lot of the wide receivers we wanted to see Emmanuel Butler recover. He stepped up. Who that, Randy? I see you, baby. Who that? Welcome to the show. And we seen him step up and do some stuff. So I would give the offense a B, the running game and all that kind of stuff. I'll give him a B. I'm just going to give him a B. Now, the defense did hold the Jets down, did rough up the quarterback. They didn't actually got to the Jets' offense. The quarterback twice in this one held them pretty much, down to 13 points in this game, a couple of field goals, and one score they was able to sneak out when Darnold found number 88. I forget the man's name. Number 88, he used to play for the Green Bay Packers, who's a running back with a wide receiver number. I just think that's so stupid. But he beat Colton Jumper to the sideline with a touchdown in the game, and that was the only score that they have. So I got to give the Saints defense credit for that as well. They played well enough to hold the Jets offense to 300 yards, and most of that was on the ground. Well, actually, they had 205 yards passing. That's not too bad. Saints had 2 sacks on them with the defense, but 95 yards rushing. Held them under 100 yards, so that wasn't so bad. So I give the defense a B- tonight. So we got solid B for the offense, a B- for the defense. Not too bad. You had the sacks in there. Should have had a couple of picks in this game. You had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who should have had a pick, but I think it wouldn't have counted anyway. And then you had, obviously, Ken Crawley drop the touchdown right in his face. So I'm still going to give the Saints defense a B-. They did a pretty decent job in the game if you think about it. And on the special teams, we're going to go to the special teams and look how the special teams played. I got to give it to Deontay Harris. Like we've been talking about Deontay Harris, and he's been stepping it up big time. We go to his statistics. And now, we go into the defensive statistics, which it's a right time to go over it right now. JT Gray actually led the team in tackles tonight. He had 7 tackles, followed by Will Compton, 5 tackles. Caden Ellis had 4. Ken Crawley had 3. Chris Banjo 3. So did Darnell Sankey, Terrell Williams, Demario Davis, Josh Martin, and Vince Bidrell had 2 each. So did Sylvester Williams, A.J. Klein, Von Bell, and Colton Jumper, along with Shai Tuttle, had 2. And then Porter Galston, Patrick Robinson, P.J. Williams, Dwayne Washington, T.J. Green, A.J. Derby, Trey Hendrickson, Marshawn Lattimore, Ziggy Hood, and Justin Hardy, Eli Apple, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson all had 1 tackle apiece. And it's a fair. And you look at on the return aspect of it, Deontay Harris continues to do his thing. He had 3 returns on the night for 61 yards. His longest one was a 28-yard return. He averaged about 20 yards a return. Cyril Grayson had 1 for 8. And then on the punt return aspect, Deontay Harris had 4 returns for 92 yards, averaging about 23 yards a return. He broke one for 78 yards for a score, first time in a while, and that was really big. And Will Lutz, big ups to him. He was 4 or 5 on the night, kicking field goals. 14 points he contributed. Thomas Morstead had 6 points for 304 yards. Thomas Morstead averaged 51 yards, almost 51 yards, and placed 2 of the 6 inside the 20 yards, with the longest one on the night, almost 60 freaking yards. And that's why I talk about, when I talk about Thomas Morstead, I always said that he's a Hall of Fame punter. He's going in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be the best punter the league ever seen when it's all said and done. Thomas Morstead. Will Lutz's excellence is showing as well. And we just gave you some of the statistics on the other guys. And big ups to Marshawn Lattimore. He was able to strip that ball away from the running back, Ty Montgomery. And the Deontay Harris had fumbled, but then recovered his own fumble. So that he did his thing. Vince Bidrell had a sack tonight, and so did Porter Galston. Those are the 2 sacks that were contributed to the defense. So I just gave you some of the statistics. Now, as far as the special teams are concerned, family, I give the special teams I guess I can give them with a return. How could you not give this team, special teams, a B+? How about that? A B+ for my special teams tonight, because they did what I've been asking them to do. They returned a punt for a touchdown. Now, I've been going hard on it. I was all for the last, I don't know how many shows, that I've been saying to myself, man, we need to get to saying da-da-da-da. But guess what they did? They gave me what I want. So I give them what they want, a B+ special team. So let me recap. Offense has a B, defense B-, special teams is a B+. That is my call, family. And that's what I'm thinking about. So what say you, family? Are you feeling like I'm feeling at this point? Let's see what the family is saying. Jason says, even if you're not Saints fan, how could you not love Drew Brees? Seriously, man, he does it all right, man. Drew does it all right. DLP 2600 says, if Luck is sitting around after Drew Brees leaves, Saints will call him 100%. He has a relationship with him. That would be something else. He got to heal up. Remember, Drew Brees had a shoulder issue that almost put him out the game too. But Andrew Luck might have had some bad care. He should have healed from that already. But this is not. I don't feel this don't give me a feeling like he's gonna be gone forever. Sooner or later, when he heals up, he'll be back. He's really young in the game. I don't see him. He might go a year and come back a year, and might go in the boot and talk football like Jason Witten did, heal up and then come back the following year when he think he could play. He got a little time to kind of heal up, and work it out. We'll see how it goes with Andrew Luck. Verla says, Fields, don't forget Megatron was still at 2 of his games and walked due to no support. Reggie Sutton was trash and Benny Thompson was up and down. Yeah, Reggie Sutton was terrible and Benny Thompson was inconsistent. Paul, you got all the old schoolers. Roscoe says, you ain't a true Saints fan if you don't hit the thumbs up, folks. Show some love. Thank you there, Roscoe. Yeah, family, do like who that Roscoe says, man. And take a moment and hit the thumbs up, family. Hit the thumbs up button. It helps us out tremendously here at the platform. It brings more people like yourself into the conversation to talk about the Saints, man. And I just, it really helps. Sean said he joined the Sports Coma League. Thank you, Sean. Verlin says, at one point, all we had really was a solid linebacker play trying to carry the O and D. Yeah, at one point, all we had was solid linebacker, and look how things have changed. Roscoe says, I'm so down for some fantasy. Paul says, Steve Walsh, Wade Wilson, Billy Joe Tolliver, Dave Wilson, all trash. We had why would Billy Joe Tolliver? We had Paul, you got Billy Joe Tolliver. Why you didn't put Billy Joe Holbert in there? Billy Joe Holbert, Paul. Steve Walsh, Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson just passed away not too long ago. Dave Wilson, yep. And we even had Jim Everett down here. Remember that? We had Jim Everett, used to be with the Rams. We had him down here for a spell. So, I mean, it's just wow. But Billy Joe Holbert, you got to remember that dumpster can too. Jason says a 20-team fantasy football league. I never heard of that before. Wow. I know, Jason. I know. That's why it's like a 20-team. This is really going to be something. It's going to really be something. This is going to really try, if you're a fantasy person, this is going to really try your fantasy skill, because with that many teams, it's going to force you to be crafty to find players to fill in. It's going to really be something. It's going to really be an experience, and I really like it. It's going to be a challenge. That's why I did a 20-team fantasy league with my family here at the Sports Coma. Let's get it, baby. Top prize, $150 in your pocket, and the run-up, $50 in your pocket. So that's what I'm talking about. Roscoe says, Q, you one dope brother. I feel like I've known you for a long time. You make this live chat very fun and welcome, and thanks for all you do. Thank you, Roscoe. Roscoe, thank you, family. Appreciate you, my man. Back at you, man. We who that's, baby. We family. We always been knowing each other. We just on the end of the spectrum. It's just great to have these platforms to bring us together, Had we, we on one side of this place and you on this other side of this place. And that's the great thing about having platforms like this, where we can all come together and we can all share that bond and we can all talk about the black and gold. And it's just no place where you can get this, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's megally important that I ask the family to do their part, whether that's hit the like button, hit the notification bell to grow it together. We can get more family like y'all guys in here. And also, share it. Another great thing, how what's really helping the show is when family, Sean, Verlin, Derek, Roscoe, Paul, Randy, all the family members, Dada, DLP, all of them, Jay, 985, J, all of my family, the Young Bloods, 46, so many people all of them share the show on their social, wherever you socialize, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you go, Reddit, you Pinterest, wherever. You take the show with you, share it in groups. And that's how we got a lot of interesting family to follow us here, to pick us up here was from Saints groups and stuff like that. Really a good way to expand the show. So I asked the family to kind of reach out and share as well. And, you know, as one of the support mechanisms. So thank you once again, Roscoe, for those kind words, brother. Thank you. Let's see. Tramal says, who is number 60, the offensive line? Who is number 60? That old lineman. Cut him tomorrow. Number 60. Hold on here. Let me look at I got my depth chart up here. Number 60. Number 60. Oh, that's Patrick Omame. That's the fool that ran over his own guy. Omame, he's the guy that came over from the Giants. He started like a bunch of games, like 40-something games since he been in the league. Yeah, he really looked trash can today. He ran over his own man. I don't know how you pull that off. Tramal says Taysom Hill getting more comfortable in the pocket, really looking good. Paul says offense B+, defense C+, and special teams D+. Why Paul being hard on him? That punt return don't do nothing for you, that Paul. It didn't. It must have brought him up from an F. Russell said I gave myself an F for not watching. Paul says, I hope Lutz can be a young Martin Anderson. He's going to be special. Yeah. Tramal says, why is Latavius Murray didn't play today? During the show earlier, they mentioned several Saints players wasn't going to play. Latavius was one of them. Jared Cook was one of them. Of course, they mentioned Craig Robertson, Alex Anzalone, and Saquon Hampton was another one. It was several players that they said at the start of the show. Remember, they don't have to give you an injury report. They're not required to give you much of an injury report on that. You know, you just if you come to the game, they don't show up. And then, you know, we didn't know what was happening with Alize Mack. We know eventually he would show up. We didn't know what happened with Keith Kirkwood, but Keith Kirkwood plays. So it's kind of up and down in the preseason in terms of knowing exactly who's injured or not. You're not really required to report on the injury list until the regular season, not in the preseason. So it's kind of hard to keep up with, you know, those players. D says the starters offense are A, defense is a B, special teams is a B-, pass rushing and E for effort. Thank you, D. Appreciate you. Verlin says offense a B, kind of flat with all opportunities. D equals B-. Really needs the D made a B-, really need a little bit more disruption from them, and special teams a B, open up the run lanes. Thank you, Verlin. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Tramal says, remember Danny Waffle at QB? I spelled his name right. No, it should have been Danny. I used to call him Danny Awful. That's what he was. He was, he wasn't the highest. That was Dicker's guy. He drafted Danny Waffle out of the University of Florida. Danny Waffle had won a championship with the Florida Gators that year. He came out as a Heisman Trophy winner. He won a Heisman that year too, and the Saints took him with the fourth round pick that year. That was Dicker. And the classic moment of Danny Awful's career with the Saints is when he was running through the pocket and the guy literally grabbed his face mask and turned his helmet around on his head, and he was scrambling with his helmet on backwards. Look it up. That's the kind of Three Stooges kind of crap that was going on during the Saints down years. Buffoonish Three Stooges type stuff like that was going on. I mean, seriously, the defender grabbed Danny Awful's helmet, face mask, and spit the helmet on his head, and his helmet was turned around backwards on his eyes, and he was running around with the ball. I mean, look it up. Look, it was absolutely crazy. But that's what kind of crap we had with Danny Awful. He was terrible. Demi says Drew and the first players a B, the starters for our defense a B, special teams a B+. Thank you, Demi. Roscoe says, you mean Chris Everett? I think he was married to Chris Everett. She was a tennis player, right? Jim Everett was the quarterback for he used to play for the Rams. And we used to have some battles with the Rams when it was the Los Angeles Rams. It was Jim Everett there. It was Robert Del Pino, Cleveland Gary with the running backs. Wide receivers was Flipper Anderson and Aaron Cox. Ernie Conwell was the tight end. See, I remember a lot of that stuff, man. I got to football brain I'm stuck with. But no, it was Jim Everett, the guy. And Roscoe says, Danny Waffle dated my sister before he played college ball with the Gators. Dude was awesome in college. That's how I became a Saints fan, even though they sucked, our black and gold. Yeah, he was really awesome. And that's why he was playing for Steve Spurrier that year. And Spurrier had that run and gun offense. And he was awesome in that. But when he came to the league, and really that's when you have to do your research to understand. He wasn't really athletic. He was really a brainy dude. He was pretty smart, but he didn't have a big gun arm, and he was okay accurate. He was a basic quarterback and he was basically in a offense that made it look, just like the offense was on rocket fuel or something. And he was just a regular dude driving it. But when he got to the Saints, man, it was just a disaster, man. They gave him really no help, no really great wide. It was just a disaster for Danny Waffle when he got here. He was awesome in college. He could have just stopped right there and not done anything else. Paul says Troy Davis good in college, terrible in the pros. Troy Davis was a guy, he had 2,000 yards rushing. He came out of Nebraska, I think. He was also a part of that draft that brought in Danny Awful and all those Ditka guys and Chris Naoli and all these guys. Remember Chris Naoli? The offensive lineman we want Ditka guys. He was passing up guys like Trey Johnson and all these. This man was crazy. This man was crazy. He was out of his mind. I want Ditka type guys. And then Troy Davis, he was this little guy, very productive at college, but just couldn't get off the ground here in New Orleans. Just terrible. And Tremal says, I remember that face mask play cute. You remember that? I'm telling you, Tremal. We got to look it up, family. Look up, put in there Danny Waffles backwards helmet. You get a good laugh out of that because that is the exact epitome of what the Saints were at that time. Absolutely, it was on some Three Stooges stuff. The referee didn't even call the play, matter of fact. This fool scrumming around with his helmet on backwards, looking for... And I'm sitting here like this, oh my goodness, what's going on here? That was some rough times, family. That was rough times as a Saints fan. And Ross, Varela said, that's so true about Dan. I'm telling you, bro, I'm calling it as I'm seeing it. Roscoe said, I remember when they truly took the Vikings helmet and smashed it in the center of the field. Those some air. Yep. Who that, Big Ed? Who that, baby? And Craig Nowitzki, trash. Oh, man, Paul, old school, man. Paul got all the dumpster cans out, man. We had a lot. We went. I'll tell you honestly, family. We had a lot of dumpsters. We went a lot of trash cans. We went through in the Saints before we really finally got it right. And then we were some trash cans coaches too, man. We finally were able to get it right with Sean Payton, Drew Brees. We just want to keep the ball moving, man. We don't want to go back to them years, man. Please don't. Roscoe said, I just don't want to remember. Let's not go backwards. That's right. Tremal said Mike Dick was one of the worst coaches with drafting. And that fool traded the whole draft away for Ricky Williams. And Ricky Williams had something wrong with him. He would have interviews with his helmet on and with the face mask completely blacked out. Could you imagine that? You're a reporter and you got a guy sitting up there with his helmet on doing interviews and you're trying to talk to him. You know how awkward that is? I'm like, how would you know? You can't make eye contact. That's just like so awkward. It's weird. Then Ditka put on a dress for the ESPN. Remember that? He had him in a dress, and Ricky Williams is in a wedding dress, and Mike Ditka was like, that was so weird and just out of ordinary. I mean, Mike Ditka was absolutely insane, man. I mean, he was just out of his freaking mind, man. Terrible. Verla said Danny Awful would be a big today to do that play, like crying. Jordan, yeah, that'll be a fire meme if somebody do it too. Paul do know his history. I'm not going to tell you no different. Paul know all of them old trash cans. But I threw one at Paul, made him laugh when I threw Billy Joe Hobart at him. I don't think anybody would expect nobody to throw Billy Joe Hobart, pull him out the trash can somewhere and throw Billy Joe Hobart at you. And, Chris Naoli. Oh, my goodness, I threw another one at you, Chris Naoli. It was so terrible, man. Them was some hard years, man. I tell you what. Hard years, family. Hard years. But, yeah, he was bizarre, Paul. Yeah, he was real bizarre. That whole wedding dress thing was bizarre, too. What were they doing, man? I'm like, absolutely. It's just terrible. But anyway, family, man, we seen some stuff for today's affair. that answers some questions, to the offense. In particular, the running back situation. My estimation is I think the Saints will keep 5 backs. Thursday we'll know for sure as that's the final preseason game. Of course, the Saints will have to scurry to get the before I think it's the following Monday that they will have to get their roster down to 53. And the thing is, I think the Saints will keep 5 running backs. It'll be Elvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington, Devine Zigbo, and Zach Line. That's my opinion. As far as the guys behind the big two of Mike Thomas and Teddy Ginn Jr., I still say Traquan makes it. I say Deontay Harris definitely solidified the spot on the punt return. That was something special we hadn't seen in a long time. So that gives you 4 guys right there. Do the Saints go 5 or 6? I think they go 5, but do the Saints go 6 wide receivers? That's the question. Do they go 6 wide receivers? If they go 5, which is the 5th wide receiver? I think that what happened with Emmanuel Butler tonight, he kind of brought himself back into discussion. So if it was forced to go tonight and they had to pick 5, I would say that would be my 5. It would be Mike Thomas, Ted Ginn Jr., Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, and then you have Emmanuel Butler in the mixture. If they go 6, it's a possibility that it could be somebody like maybe LaJordan Humphreys or either Sammy Cobb or Austin Carr. I think would be between those guys. It'd be a tough call as far as that concerned. The offensive lineman I was kind of concerned about. I wasn't that really concerned about, but after their performance, watching Obama push over his own man and Ryan Groy, how he played and how the Will Clapp looked, the only really backup offensive lineman I enjoyed that had some good rhythm was Cameron Tom. He played a lot of the center position. He looked good in that capacity. Nick Eason wasn't all that, playing with the second team. So, I mean, the backup offensive lineman question kind of popped up in my head because I thought it was solved. But my goodness, the backup offensive linemen, they didn't look too good at all to me. They really didn't. They looked discombobulated and everything. And it created a new set of concerns for me. So we're going to see how that works out as well. The defensive pass rusher situation, Trey Hendrickson has ratcheted up his performance for the 3rd pass rusher position. But I still have a dying feeling, not a dying feeling, but a weird feeling that we need more help besides Trey Hendrickson because we're counting on Davenport and Trey Hendrickson to contribute in a massive amount. And I don't know if you can count on either one of those guys. Davenport had injury issues in college. He comes in his first year, he has several injuries that sidelined him. I don't know if you can count on Davenport like that. Might be putting him in that position prematurely. And if you are doing that, at least have some solid depth behind him. Trey Hendrickson has not proven to do anything despite the fact that he had pretty decent statistics in college. He had not translated fully in this league. We understand that this is his year when he put his 3rd year when you're going to see some stuff. But I still say we need some more help from the pass rush position. Just going to be honest with you on that, family. Going to the linebacker situation, we suffering with injuries to Alex Anzalone and Craig Robertson. Not much of a concern to me, and I'll tell you why. Because of Demario Davis. Demario Davis champions a lot of that stuff. A.J. Klein is healthy as well. And then you have really good play from 2 solid up-and-coming linebackers, Darnell Sankey. Well, I put him, but really it's Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis started tonight. He's been getting most of the reps, getting a lot of repetition. He's really impressed Dennis Allen and the Saints staff, and he's been getting a lot of reps. So Dennis Allen's new linebacker, undrafted 7th-round draft pick, calling plays. He's energetic. He's fast. Love Caden Ellis and what he bringing to the team. Just going to be honest with you. So when you talk about Alex Anzalone missing maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks or a month of the season, or Craig Robertson missing some time, don't really concern me as much because I know Vince Bigel can pick up the slack on the special teams. I know Caden Ellis can play special teams if you need him to play. And I also know that he can serve in the capacity, him or Darnell Sankey, and providing depth until Craig or Alex comes back to the Saints defense. So that is something really special when you have that kind of depth. And those guys are young guys we're looking. So I'm really impressed with that. A major sticking point and strength of the team for the Saints, in my opinion, is the defensive interior line. The interior line of the defense is very solid. Sylvester Williams looks awesome. Tyler Stallworth stepping up. David Onyemata is awesome. Even Ziggy Hood, who I think probably will get cut, really is looking strong. He was breaking in that. Wes Horton didn't have the kind of performance I was looking like. Would like to have seen him had like he had in the Chargers game. Didn't have the same performance in this game right here. Still question marks behind Trey Hendrickson. I keep saying that. Then we go into the defensive back situation. Patrick Robinson looked like crap. P.J. Williams is garbage. Ken Crawley continue to be Ken Crawley, dropping the ball all over the place. Interceptions right in his hands. Can't catch. I don't know what's wrong with Ken Crawley. But outside of the top, but big ups to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson stepping up in a nickel position. Not much on Kevon Webster. Need to pay attention to that. Then looking at the safety. Saquon Hampton was hurt. How bad is this? Behind him, we've seen a lot of Chris Banjo. He played a lot better than another game. Still don't want to see Chris Banjo out there. TJ Green and Terrell Williams, I still see those guys as just camp bodies, and eventually they got big size now, big old safeties. One of them was trying to play a little corner, but nothing special there. Just practice squad safeties, in my opinion. And Saquon Hampton is a guy that probably can make it. Big ups to JT Gray. Justin Hardy, didn't see too much from Justin Hardy in this game, but JT Gray led the team in tackles tonight. He was all over the place. He played a pretty solid game with JT Gray. We don't give JT Gray a lot of credit, but he played really well for the defense in extended moments because of the injuries to Saquon Hampton. So a lot of good things we've seen today from the kick return game. Marcus Shrells is still a question mark. Cyril Grayson was helping trying to return some stuff outside of Deontay Harris. But Deontay Harris seems to be the guy that has the leg up in that competition. So a lot of stuff going on. I did see Humphreys, LaJordan Humphreys out there. Not too much, so he didn't do anything. A lot of blocking, they didn't throw to him. So it's really interesting, just to break down and see some of that stuff go on. But that's just some of what I seen out there, family. Now, yeah, you're right, Jamal. Jamal said, guess who fleeced Mike Dick in the Ricky Williams trade? It was Charlie Cassidy. The guy that sit up on the NFL Network with the glass looking like Fu Manchu. That's the guy that got the best of Mike Dicker. But Mike Dicker was a numbskull anyway. Paul said Brad Muster. Good grief. Brad Muster, he was like he was walking in mustard, walking in molasses. That dude was super slow, but he can block his butt off, though. That's one of those guys Mike Dicker brung over with him from Chicago when he came here. And Roxco said, let's go overtime and talk sensation cheerleaders. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys would love that. Jason said, he's a really old trash can player, Sean Knight. Sean Knight or Sammy Knight? Is it Sean Knight or Sammy Knight? Sammy Knight wasn't bad. He was super slow. But Sammy will lay your butt out. So, I don't know who Sean Knight is, but I know who Sammy Knight is. So, is that what you're saying, Jason? Big Ed said, what about Mike T? TD snag. Was really nice, man. Good to see that. To see that connection between Drew Brees and Mike Thomas didn't absolve. The offense with Drew in it, flawless. That's what we're looking forward to in the regular season. I just can't wait, man. We keep everybody upright. We're going to be fine. Paul said Mario Bates and Derek Brown. Oh, my goodness. Trash can. Trash can and trash can 1 and trash can 2. Ruben Mays was actually pretty good. Ruben Mays was good. Randy said Devontae Zigbo kind of remind me of Pierre Thomas. He quick feet, not as heavy leg, because Pierre had those big old thighs. He could twist and turn. But you're right, though, the movement he got those quick feet, the shiftiness, north-south runner, can run around you, catch that ball with his hands, don't bring it close to his body, just hands the ball, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Devontae Zigbo is the truth, man. I definitely, like what he can bring. The Saints need to keep him. Jamal said, I hope Bygel makes the team. I think he will with the injuries. Ed says the same. Paul says Ruben Mays was a productive, but injuries killed his career. Very true. The Bayou Bullet, Ruben Mays, he was special, man. He was quick, elusive, but them injuries, man, him with Dalton Hilliard and the rest of those guys. Roscoe said Randy Myers, I agree, more like Chris Ivory kind of back. Jamal says P-Rob getting burnt a lot too. P-Rob's in trouble, man. No doubt about it. Roscoe says I want to see more Humphreys play. Randy says, what do you think about Will Clapp? He in trouble, Randy. He didn't, the last 2 games, the 2 preseason games, Will Clapp been dropping farther. Remember at one time, Will Clapp was battling with Cameron Tom for those positions. They basically the same player. They say that they play basically the same position. They're center guards. The great thing about Will Clapp, he's played every position. So he should be able to make a team. He plays center, he played guard, and he played a little tackle. So he's really a player that's really talented. I don't think Will Clapp makes the team. Because Sean Payton brought on all these veteran offensive linemen. He brought in Ryan Groy from Buffalo. He brought in Patrick Omameh from the Giants. He brought in all these other inside guards to play. They bring competition to Will Clapp. I think Cameron Tom's fine. I think Will Clapp could end up on the practice squad. That's what I think about Clapp, man. He's really, he in trouble in my opinion. Tramal said Marcus Bad Angle Williams. He got to get better with that. Demi said, thanks, Q, for another good show. Who That Nation. Have a blessed week. Always ask for God's protection before you leave out your house. Our state city had a lot of deaths last week. Love you all. Thank you, Demi. Demi always brings the great spiritual aspect and everything to it. Demi is a blessing. Thank you, Demi, for that. And bless you, too. And thank you for joining us tonight, Demi. And we will meet again, my friend. Thank you. Randy says, Roscoe, facts. I'm excited about his future. Roscoe said, it's Sammy Knight. Yep, I thought it was Sammy. Tramal said Sammy Knight was slow, but he was around the ball. He would lay you out. Sammy Knight was super slow, but Sammy Knight was good. He wouldn't drop no interceptions, I tell you now. He wasn't no Ken Crow. He would catch that ball, and he would blow you up. Sammy Knight was a beast. Roscoe said, I'm with you. Randy, I feel the same for guys like Traquan, Carr, and Arnold. They have to step it up. These guys have all the talent in the world, but it's psychological blocks that defeat a lot of these guys. They don't look comfortable. Like Dan Arnold many times don't look comfortable out on the field. Traquan Smith dropping passes that he know he's supposed to catch. You go back and look at footage of him in Central Florida. He catching passes like that. But you come to the league, he dropping passes like that. That got to affect a young guy's confidence like that, especially when everybody knows that the young undrafted guys are beating down the block trying to come and get you. You got to watch that. Roscoe says, speaking of ball hawk, have you seen much on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Charles Gardner kid, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Doing it all. He doing it all, Roscoe. He was lined up in the slot pretty much with the portions of the first team. P-Rob came out, then Chauncey Gardner pretty much lined up there for the rest of the game. He's awesome, man. He is definitely, the Saints definitely looking at him. Could be a replacement to Patrick Robinson. We thought about that before when they had these talking about where P-Rob and P.J. Williams was the two guys going at each other. No, hell no. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson could. The Saints do have enough help in a safety position where they can keep Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at that nickel position for the entire season. They can move Saquon Hampton back at the safety position and be that as it may and keep him there. They have two safeties. I think the Saints would be fine if they chose to do that. They could release Patrick Robinson, but my thing is I would keep Patrick Robinson around because he's better than P.J. Williams and Ken Crawley, and you would need a veteran defensive back going into the regular season. I would like to have a veteran behind my young corner because these are young. Even though Eli Apple and Marshawn Lattimore are good, they're still young veterans, and I would love to have a guy like a Patrick Robinson or Kevon Webster in my secondary that they can draw that wisdom from. So that would be my thinking on it. Will said, what about Keith Kirkwood? He played in the game, had a catch in the game. He played. He was back in there. He looked comfortable seeing him running around and making some plays, but nothing fantastic for Keith Kirkwood. But the positive thing is he was on the field contributing in the game today. So Tramal said, remember Dale Carter? We had 1 year he was washed up. Yep, he was washed up. We remember him. Russell hope he replaces P-Rob. P-Rob is definitely a guy we got to watch out for, but I still would like to keep P-Rob there. Oh, my goodness, Jamal just put Jonathan Sullivan and Cedric Ellis up there. Oh, Jonathan Sullivan was absolutely horrible. He was trash. He came out of the University of Georgia. Boy, he was a bust. And then Cedric Ellis came out of the University of Southern California, USC. He was another guy that was wasted potential. They never truly lived up what they were supposed to do. They had terrible work ethics. It was just awful. Two trash can defensive linemen, no doubt about it. And you might as well throw that big fella we got from the University of Georgia in there. He was trash can too. To be that big. Ball was 330 pounds, 6'4". We just got rid of him about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't think of his name right now. But he came out of the University. Paul probably will know what I'm talking about. Roscoe, y'all guys probably know. He came out of the University of Georgia. Saints just got rid of him about 6 years ago. He was about 330 pounds, 6'4". He was a big old defensive lineman. The Saints drafted him, I believe, in the 3rd or 4th round. I can't remember his name, but you guys probably could pull him up. Roscoe says, Look at this. Paul says Fred Weary. Oh my goodness, that was yeah. Oh yeah, that was terrible, terrible. Y'all guys about to depress me here. Charles Grant was actually pretty decent. Charles Grant was good. Darren Howard was awesome. Will Smith is a to me, Will Smith, one of the best that we ever had here. Rest in peace to Will. Randy said Easton was tripping a little bit. Easton was making some mistakes. That's what I'm saying about Easton, that you didn't know what you was getting with Easton. But it's kind of it's weird in that way. But anyway, family, D, good night, D. Good. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. We're gonna catch you up later, baby. Blessings to you, and have a good night. Roscoe said two other greats, Rofe and Glover. Glover. Willie Rofe and Leroy Glover was excellent, man. Even the heavy lunch bunch was pretty good with Martin Chase and Norman Hand. You see, I'm bringing these old boys back to you. Norman Hand and Martin Chase, the heavy lunch bunch. But it's rest in peace, Will Smith. But family, that's gonna do it tonight on the live stream. We're just over 2 hours recapping the game. The Saints got the win 28-13 over the New York Jets. Big win. Well, I ain't gonna say a big win, but any win you can get in the preseason at somebody else's building in the NFL is a big win. The Saints were able to put together a team effort and turn it around. Now, one game remains in the preseason before this is all said and done, and that is against the Miami Dolphins in the Superdome on the upcoming Thursday. So, man, we'll finally wrap up the regular season next week. Thursday, it'll be a short week as the Saints come home in the Dome against the Miami Dolphins. And we'll cover that show as well. More than I don't know if it'll be a live stream on that Thursday, family. It might be an audio stream. So it's imperative that you join the Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. Feel free to do that, family. Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. And that way you could be able to join and listen to the live stream live and comment as well. So it's going to be interesting as well. So I'd like to thank all the family for joining us tonight in the live stream. Thank you, family. Tramal, Roscoe, Will, Gary, Randy, Paul, William, Demi's hung up. All Big Ed, all y'all, man. There's so many people. I can't name everybody. Verlin. It's just so many people that the call I'm trying to. Jason. DLP 2600. Sean D. Crass. Elite. Man, Derek, who that? Derek in the building. The right one. Man, Glenn, Lionel, Cheryl. Who else am I getting? I try to throw a name out. Jerome, Barbara, who's new to the stream. Thank you, Barbara. Robert, Dada. Man, it's just so many I can't remember. JC Mason, who's another one new to the live stream as well. My boy Crass. Man, there's so many people, man. But everybody, all the great Sports Coma family members that were in the live stream tonight. Derek, who that to you, baby? 28-13, Saints get the win, family. Much love to all my Who Dats in the Who Dat Nation. And like I said, if you guys, like I said, I'm gonna say this again the last time before we go. Please hit the like button before you leave. Hit the thumbs up, the like button. Hit the bell for notification and subscribe button if you had. I know most of you already are subscribers, but make sure you hit your bell. To hit the bell, because sometimes to get those notifications, like we send out a post or something like that, and you want to know, like for a contest or whatever, hit that notification bell. It's important, as well as a like button. So make sure you smash all those. And a couple of ads before we go. Remember, we're doing the first annual Sports Coma Fantasy League that's going on. The fantasy draft will be not this Sunday, but it's the 1st, September the 1st at 1 p.m. Central Time. The Sports Coma will be the fantasy league. It's a 20-team fantasy league with the prize being $150 to the champion. The runner-up gets $50. It's free to join. And I think we have about 6 or 7 slots. When we started the podcast 2 hours ago, I haven't checked, so some of those slots might be ate up. But it's first come, first serve, family. If you want to get in the fantasy league, feel free to do so now before all the slots are filled. Like I said, it's $150 winner, a fee to the winner, $50 to the runner-up in the fantasy league. And also, besides that, we have the game console giveaway that starts in September as well. And once every month from September to December, we'll be handing out video game consoles absolutely free. Don't cost you nothing. It's a giveaway, and we'll have some information how you can sign up for that as well. That'll be coming next week. And of course, when it comes down to the merch, your family members can find out. Hit the link in the description section below, or any other video, or go to the merch section. We usually have our link set up, on a YouTube page where you can access the merch and go right to our merch store at the Pro Shop for all our latest t-shirts and gear. The Dad Slap, the Chump Missioner shirt with Goodell's face on it, what appears to be Goodell's face. I can't really see if it is or not. But the Chump Missioner, the Dad Slap shirt, the established 2015 Sports Coma shirt, the Die Hard shirts, all that great gear is available at the Pro Shop. The link will be provided in the description section below, so you guys can check that out. And also, there will be, if you buy, you can put in Big Q10, lower caps, letters, all of them, lowercase, Big Q10, and you get 10% off on your purchase at the Pro Shop. But that code is good up until the last of the month. So, like I said, family, thank you guys, man. It's a fantastic time going on with the Sports Coma and the PRO Media Network. We're giving out consoles coming up over the next 4 months, and we're doing a fantasy league, reaching out to our family to engage them more. $150 to the winner, $50 to the runner-up. A lot of great stuff going here, man. And the Saints continue to win as well. So it's good time to be a Saints fan, man, right now in the Big East and across the world. So I'd like to thank all the family members for joining us on tonight's 2-hour live stream recapping. The Saints get a victory at 28-13. They're 2-1 in the preseason. 1 game left to go before the big time, and that's against the Dolphins next Thursday. So thank you guys for joining us on the live stream tonight. Who that to your family? Who that? Who that? Who that? We got to win. Who that? I love you. Peace.